So let's take a look at the remote learning experience of our higher maths students here at Kyle Academy. The senior leadership team have established a weekly timetable for all pupils in the school, and senior classes have been allocated 2 sessions per subject. Each session lasts 90 minutes, and maths we had been allocated the second session on a Monday and the first session on a Thursday. And during that hour and a half each time, we expect to offer a mix of live delivery, some independent study, and some live sort of drop-in support time. Within the actual team itself, we have one team for our 67 higher maths students, and the team is named with the teacher's initials after as well. So we're asking the students to regularly check their notifications. We make it very clear that our instructions and our worksheets will always be set in the general channel. Formal assignments will always be set in the general channel. Live lessons, well, they'll always be hosted in our online classroom, a channel specifically for that. We're asking students if they need help with something during the week, they're encouraged to tag their teacher in their own channel. Of course, some students will also choose to email us to our Glow email too. And then any additional tutorials that we might hold, they will take place in our own teacher channel as well. And regular homework tasks and solutions, they're always posted in the homework tasks channel. So let's go and take a look at what's happening in our team. So let's jump into higher maths. And you can see the way that I've set up this team in the channels down the left hand side. So we've got the one team, and then the general channel, this is where I post the important information. So I've set this so that only owners can post messages in here. And every time I set a new announcement, I always change the default setting so that replies are restricted. So we can't have any students replying. You can see it says here, but this is because it's on my view rather than a student view. Down the left, we've got Ask Mr. Wallace, Ask Mrs. Dick, and Ask Mrs. Lake, the 3 teachers. So we've all got our own channel for our own students. And we've actually using the tag feature as well, so that I can go and use the tag to notify just my class, same for Mrs. Dick, same for Mrs. Lake. Our revision materials, just if students want to have a look at maybe some of the previous material that we've gone over, there are some sort of sways and tools in there that are useful, and also the solutions to any of our class worksheets are posted there. Online classroom, so this is where our meetings are held, and if I just jump into the online classroom just now, you can see that actually here I do actually only have the 4 meetings set up. I've got the weekly recurring meeting for a Monday at 11 o'clock. I've got supported study that I offer on a Wednesday at 4 o'clock. I've got the Thursday morning lesson at 9 o'clock, and then I've actually got the Friday drop-in. So these are recurring meetings, and these just roll over every week, and there's no requirement for me to go and set up a new meeting every single time. So I would be going in to start the meeting, the correct meeting on the specific day, and that's exactly how that's been working. Homework tasks is again where we just set our tasks for the week. So it's usually sort of past paper style questions, and you can see I would then post the solutions on the following week. And that's just a reminder for students they can know where to access this. The extension tasks and pre-hire tasks, those were just channels that we'd used prior to starting the higher course initially, and then some extension tasks with them. So I'm not using them as often just now. But let's go back to the general channel. In the general channel, this is how I specify exactly what we should be doing each day in our 2 sessions. And I'm being very clear here when I set the tasks. So for example, Monday the 8th of February, we were calculating the angle between two vectors, and we're looking at perpendicular vectors. And I was giving students 5 different tasks for that day. I would split this up into a live lesson from 11 o'clock. And we're going to be completing pages 85 and 86 in our examples booklet, and I was allocating 20 minutes for that. I was then setting students the second task where they were to go and look specifically at the examples that I was referring to in the OneNote class notebook, and I've included some Flipgrid videos, and I'll show you that just in a moment. I've also set a task here, worksheet 6A, and then I'm asking the students to come back to join the lesson again at 12 o'clock, where we'll do a further examples page for about another 15 minutes. So trying to get the balance, trying to set up the session so that it's a little bit more productive for them and they know exactly what's expected. And then you could see on Thursday this was more of a revision session again, so I was having a session from 9 o'clock where I was asking them to join, and then they were going to be using some of the more time available with that session. So you can see the tasks are clearly set out, dated for that specific day, and the worksheets are allocated there as well. They are shared in the link, and this is just exactly how I've been allocating tasks to the higher class throughout the month of January and February, and it has been very, very positive. We've got 67 members in the team, and 65 of those have been active in the month of February, and everybody had been active during the month of January, so very, very positive indeed. Let's have a wee look now just at how I've been using the class notebook. So our class notebook in OneNote, we've been setting some instructions for students to make sure that they can access our class notebook, and preferably I always use the desktop app for that. All class notes will be found in the content library, of course, because they will be read-only. Live lessons, they will always focus on the examples booklet questions, and these questions won't be recorded. But Flipgrid videos, I have been using Flipgrid to record myself going through some examples, and they've been added to each of the lessons that I'll show you in a moment as well. We're asking students to send photographs of any classwork that they've done and adding that just into their student notebook, and then same for photographs of their homework. That can also be uploaded, but this time to the homework section in the notebook. So let's have a wee look now at our OneNote. So this is an example of my content library where you can see I've got a section here for the sport of study, and then each of the topics listed numbers 1 down to 13. During lockdown the first time in May and June last year, we actually taught the straight line and the functions topic, and since August and Christmas we'd gone through from differentiation right up to including integration. So January, February we've been teaching trig equations and vectors. For the vectors topic in itself, you can see here that this is what I refer to as the examples booklet. Ordinarily, if students had been in class, they would have been issued with this examples booklet, and quite a substantial booklet, and they would always be filling in these examples from the board in the classroom. Now I have sent a copy of this PDF to the students so that if it's possible they can print it out, or they can take their own notes in their own jotter. But during any live lesson I will be referring to these examples and maybe using my own notes as well from the other pages that you see numbered here. So again, each page has been detailed as to which date I've been doing, and I've been writing directly onto the OneNote and just sharing my screen during any lesson. So remember, I am teaching all of the higher students rather than it being teacher specific to each class. It just makes much more sense to do it that way, and we structure it just in a really sensible way. So let's have a look just now at lesson 6, which was the angles between vectors that I'd referred to. So you can see here that I have actually got all of these notes have been typed up, and this is some work that I'd done back in probably about 5 years ago, but I've really modified these. I've added to them, reviewed the way that I would set out my working as well, and I've used this as part of my lesson as well. So a bit of theory just at the top, and then some examples to go through. And you can see down the right hand side that this is where I've actually also embedded some Flipgrid videos. So I've taken the exact same questions, example A for example, and B, C and so on, and I've just started with a blank screen for that. And you can see here just in the Flipgrid, you won't hear it, but this is me talking my way through it and going through just sort of narrated version of the same question, because sometimes it's not always just enough to read an example, but to actually hear the discussion and the teachings that go with that. So that's the same for all of the examples that are included here, and you can do that for any of the pages at all. So I've found that this has been really, really useful. Students' feedback has been very positive regarding the way that the sessions are delivered. The fact that they can access the content library anytime, they can access the videos, and they're also getting the opportunity to do that in their own time, whereas the examples booklet, that's helping to bring them together with the sort of the live engagement, which they really appreciate and value. Yes, it has been difficult to get them to speak during a meeting, especially when there's large numbers, if there's over 50 people attending each live session, but they are usually always very appreciative of what's been happening, and always very positive in the chat with lots of thank yous. So let's now just take a wee moment to look at some of the student work that's been returned. And what I've done for that is I've actually collated it together here into a test paper called Harry Potter. So for classwork, here's an example of the worksheet which I had issued to the students. Now that worksheet was also, if I just jump back in here at the bottom of my examples, I should have shown that as well. So during the course of the lesson, I've got the worksheet down there, and if anybody wants to ask anything after I've finished the direct teaching, they can just jump back on the call at any time and I can annotate and add some extra workings there. So the worksheets are there. But what I did for this day particularly was that I sent out a copy of the worksheet to the students and I asked them to submit photographs of their working below. And some of the responses that I got back, this was from John. So John had actually used his iPad to handwrite all of his solutions, and I just thought it was absolutely fabulous and an excellent use of technology to do that. And I could go through and check and spot any little mistakes and just add that feedback on for him. This one here was from Patrick, and again it's just great, absolutely brilliant to see the students taking pride in their work and setting out their workings really well. I was very pleased with that. And same here for Lucy. So Lucy had a couple of goes, but she'd left me a note in her jotter to say that she was struggling with some of them, but I'd managed to find just exactly where she'd gone wrong, highlight it, and then give her some positive feedback on that. And it was the same idea for another task, so this sort of review exercise. So this time I put 3 questions here, asked the students to complete them, and I got some responses back. So just I was able to have a quick look at it, and students have been very pleased that we are actually looking at their work and giving feedback. So I like to use my wee Bitmoji as well. So that's really a summary of classwork. Homework has been working in the exact same way. Here is just an example of sending out homework. So I usually a selection of past paper questions, give a few hints usually to encourage them to have a go at it, and then I'm able to mark their work once they've uploaded their solutions as well. If there's something that I'm not so sure about, or they maybe missed out a question, I can easily add on a snippet from my solutions, and this has been the same every week. One of the good things about using the OneNote with the higher class is that they've been using this to upload their homework since August, and I'm so glad that I did that, because it's just made it so much easier to see their homework, and also to get them on board with the digital tools as well. So it's been working extremely well for that. And I'm really pleased. So hopefully that just gives you a good idea of how we are using Teams and how we're using OneNote, and this is all really just about our experience of higher maths. So thanks very much.